Vámonos! We are live. Hi, welcome to our season number 3 of what's the name? Denise, help me here.
So this is season 3 of our senior services series. What we're doing and what we've been doing for 3 seasons now is just presenting different people that are in the field of seniors, senior resources, presenting different subjects just to educate and get all this information out there for all of our seniors that we know and love. And so this is our 3rd season, like Sandra said, and our theme for this season is senior wellness. So if you've not tuned in before tonight, we have done a show on fitness, senior fitness, and we did a show on fall prevention and recovery. That was last week. And this week, we are doing a show on healthy aging, giving you some food for thought about trying to age in a healthy way.
And where they can find you, Denise?
You can find me on Facebook at Denise Lanzarone, your local realtor, on LinkedIn. I got to lower my phone because I'm echoing. And on Instagram, you can find me on all those places. I also am on YouTube. That's new. Well, I've always had an account, but I never really put anything up there. So I put a new video up there about the 5 questions you want to ask when hiring a real estate professional. So you might want to look at that, see what that's about. And my phone number is 631-922-5985. Okay, I'll put it in the chat to you guys.
Whoops, sorry. Remember, we are live on Denise's Facebook page. You are live on my Facebook page and my YouTube channel. And remember to subscribe, to follow us, and to leave your comment. And if you are watching on YouTube, ring the bell and subscribe to my channel and Denise YouTube channel. And today we have a special guest that we're going to be talking about healthy aging, aging well, or I don't know, I don't remember anymore. I'm totally off today. It's too cold for me. And Denise, who is our special guest and what's the topic?
Okay, so today we have with us Julie Wexler. She's Director of Business Development at the Bristol Assisted Living. She was actually one of our guests on a previous season, so we're very happy to have her with us. And she's going to talk about healthy aging and what we can do to age better, live longer. Come on in, Julie.
Oh, sorry, I'm the one.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you again.
You too. Thank you for coming on.
My pleasure. Always happy to talk to you girls. My 2 favorite real estate agents in Suffolk County.
Of course. The cutest.
Awesome.
Where can they find you, Julie?
So you ladies know that I work for the Bristol Assisted Living. So, but just to give you some background, I've actually been working in senior services for 30 years. I started when I was 6.
Yes.
Just so I've been working in senior services for 30 years in a variety of settings. So just before we have this conversation, I'm not a medical person. I'm not licensed in any way. I just have 30 years of experience working with older adults in a variety of settings. And anything that I say tonight should not, take the place of the advice you get from your doctor or other professional who might be helping you stay healthy. So I just wanted to mention that. So yeah, we are going to talk tonight about staying healthy as we age, talking about different things, staying healthy physically, staying healthy mentally, staying healthy cognitively, and also just staying healthy spiritually, what that means.
Hi, Martha. Welcome. Says Martha is here for the first time.
Hey.
And where can they find you, Julie?
So you can always call or text my cell. I'll give you my contact information. I can actually just even put it in the chat. So if you have any questions for me and anything that we talk about tonight, you're always welcome to reach out to me. If I'm not the right person, to help you or to talk to you about whatever your challenges might be, because I've been working in senior services, particularly here on Long Island for so long, I know a lot of people. I know a lot of the same people that Denise and Sandra know as well. And I'm always happy to make a referral to another professional who can be the person to, best support you with whatever your challenges might be. So you're always welcome to give me a call if you have any questions or want some follow-up information to anything that we talk about tonight. I put my cell in the chat.
Yeah, but it's
I'm copying it because it went in the private chat for some reason.
Yeah, that's what I was.
It says chat with everyone in the studio. So, okay. Maybe you're in the studio. I'm not. Maybe I'm not allowed to talk to everybody else.
All right. So, Sandra, is there a way for you to check? Because it said that it wasn't connected to my Facebook page.
You have to connect yourself.
How do I do that?
Go to the little red thingy. Well, we connect later. Because you have to go out, maybe. Yeah. Yep. Or go out and I'll continue with Julie and then connect yourself and log in back.
But how do I connect myself? I don't understand.
Yeah, you have to log out of the live right now. Connect yourself and come back to the studio.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure, I'll try it.
Try it and come back.
Bye, Denise.
Bye, Denise. It's just Julie and me. Of course, we're having technical difficulties. Like sometimes we do. Whoops! Now I say bye, Julie. I want to be all by myself.
Yeah, technology is never our friend, right? Especially when you're
live.
Okay. So we'll go. I mean, we can definitely go ahead and get started, and then we'll just, include Denise when she gets back to us.
Yeah, sure.
So as I was talking about before, I've been working in senior services for a long time, and whether I was working at a senior center or I was working for adult daycare or I was working in senior living, which is where I've been working for the last 10 years, the same kind of themes come around over and over again. And I think as we get older, the things that we need to age, whether it's now or 30 years ago or regardless of the setting, people have a need to live their best life regardless of any physical or cognitive decline that they have.
Yes.
So some of the ways to do that are, of course, lifestyle choices. And certainly there are things that we can change now if we want to, but certainly if we made these changes, much earlier on, that's ideal, but it's never too late to make changes in our lifestyle and the way that we eat and the way that we live our day and the way that we sleep and things like that. So, there's those lifestyle choices and things like that we have control over in order to age in a healthy way.
When do we start changing those habits?
You're going to
50?
start today. You're going to start today, Sandra, little by little, and never big changes, because that's hard. You can't make big changes right away, but you can make small changes, little things we can do in our everyday life. So there are things that we have control over, and then there are things that we don't necessarily have control over, right? Our genetics, right? So some people have good genes. We know families where people tend to live a lot longer. So there's genetics, which we might not have so much control over. And then there's lifestyle choices, which we do have control over. So we know that, I mentioned before that there's different ways of staying healthy, whether it's physical health or mental health or cognitive health or spiritual health. There's one theme that comes over. Actually, there's really two main ones, right? And I hate to be the bearer of this news, but we all know, and the thing is, we all know this stuff, right?
Yes.
We all know that we need to exercise. We need to move. Our bodies are meant to move, right?
But we don't move.
In our modern day society, we have a very sedentary lifestyle, right? I know I sit at my desk way too long. I sit on the couch, watch TV for too long. It really is hard for, in our current society and our culture to really make a pointed effort to make sure that we stay active.
You don't even need to stand up anymore. You just talk to Alexa, and Alexa
does it for you, right?
Does it for you.
Yeah, like maybe our grandparents had it right when they didn't have remotes. You wanted to change the channel, you actually had to get up off.
You had to get up. Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Exercise.
I heard some tales about it.
Exercise and physical activity, the studies show over and over again, it helps us live longer and it helps us live better, right? So we just have to start sitting less, right? We have to start moving. Obviously, for a number of different reasons, especially as we get older, because we lose muscle mass, right? Our bodies collect more fat, we lose muscle mass, and if you're every muscle in your body, right? If you don't use it, you lose it. And so it's really, really important as we get older to maintain that muscle mass. And the only way to do that is through exercise. So really, really important. And listen, you're not going to start running marathons, right? You're not going to do that now, right? But you could start small. You could start taking the stairs instead of the elevator or the escalator. You could start walking a little bit more,
Yeah, that's true.
And you don't have to do it alone, right? Take your kids with you, take a friend with you. It is a lot more fun to take a walk with a friend, right? This is my favorite time of year. Take advantage of the beautiful fresh air, cool, crisp air, and go for a walk. That really is a great form, especially as we get older, low impact, really good for your body. But I also encourage you, especially seniors, there really are some great opportunities out there, especially on Long Island. We have almost every neighborhood has a senior center or a Y or a YMCA or a JCC, where a lot of these exercise classes are free. They're available to you at no cost. Sometimes you have to pay a little bit. But there's so much benefit. And you listen, you're not going to go to a Zumba class, right? They don't have that at the senior centers. Even chair exercise. At the Bristol, every morning, we start the day with some kind of exercise. And it's typically chair exercise. I mean, if there's folks who feel more comfortable standing, they can stand. But even doing chair exercise, you're getting that flexibility. You're getting that movement, your range of motion. You're listening to music when you're doing it. And you're with other people having fun doing it. So there are lots of benefits to exercising. It actually helps you, if you're going to go to a library for an exercise class, or you're going to go to the JCC for an exercise class, or your local senior center. Those are all great ways to exercise with other people. So little things you can do at home just by going for a walk, things you can do in the, when you're visiting your doctor, don't take the elevator, take the flight of stairs, or finding some exercise classes to take in your neighborhood. Those are all good things to do. All right. So I was mentioning the two main things that you need to do. One is exercise. The other one is to eat a healthy diet, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But I also want to talk about, It can be. I mean, we're in a fast moving society, right?
It is.
And sometimes it is hard to eat a healthy meal.
Yeah, because it's easier to stop by a McDonald's or something
Yeah.
and
Or if just
buy.
or to microwave something that's processed. It does take a little
Yes.
bit of effort, but there are some really and especially now with the challenges in the economy, like there are ways to still eat healthy. Like healthy foods can still be relatively inexpensive. Like
Hmm.
I love sweet potatoes. Like
Hmm.
sweet potatoes is a relatively inexpensive food. For me personally, that could be like my meal. That'll be my dinner. But even, I was actually listening to a news story the other day talking about the cost of rotisserie chickens, right? So rotisserie chickens, you know, are relatively inexpensive. Costco still sells them for $4.99.
Hmm.
So you could actually, if you're a single older adult living at home, you might be able to get 3 or 4 meals out of a single
Yeah.
rotisserie chicken. So, and
Yeah,
that
that's true.
can be a healthy way to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true. We get a couple of meals out of it when we buy it.
Yeah.
You
It's
make
like
chicken salad, you have, whatever.
100%. You can have it for dinner, and then the next day you can, chop it up and then put it in a wrap with some healthy salad, and you can still have healthy meals on a budget, right? Just it's a lot can be. It's actually sometimes less expensive to do it that way than to eat fast food. And so you could always talk to a nutritionist or a dietitian. We actually have a nutritionist on our team that does seminars on how to shop for a week's worth of groceries, right? Because older adults often on fixed income. So how do we make the dollar stretch and still eat healthy? What things to
Hmm.
look out for in grocery stores and what things not to, right? And making sure that you're eating a balanced meal. Those are important things. So
I have a quick question. So you want people to, you suggest that people focus on fresh fruits and vegetables, right? I mean, when you talk about a healthy diet, not a lot of um, processed food and a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables.
yeah. And
Anything
that's
else?
going to be, and then in terms of just aging in a healthy way, that's obviously good for your body, right? To have a healthy diet and to add more plants into your diet and to have, whole grains and fruits and vegetables, adding more plants into your diet, and also making sure that you're eating lean meats and things like that. It's good for your body. It's good for your heart. Of course, we want to, we have a epidemic of heart disease in our population. But the other organ that it's good for our brains, right? So whatever is good for our hearts is actually also good for our brains. And we're going to talk a little bit later about cognitive health and how to circumvent some sobering statistics about developing cognitive loss as we age. So whatever we
Hmm.
do to keep our hearts healthy are things that we can do to keep our brains healthy. And so, super important, right? So to eat that
Yes.
healthy diet that's balanced, low fat proteins and
All
whole
the good
grain,
stuff.
the Mediterranean diet, right? But I know it's hard. That's not really how our culture is. We like a lot of cheese in our diet, right? In our American culture, and we like our fatty foods, right? And so it takes some effort to kind of change the way we think, about food and even the way that food tastes.
Yeah. I need my
Not
Mexican diet.
listen.
Tacos and
I love
tostadas.
Mexican food. So yeah, all that cheese and sour cream, but then you also got the healthy stuff in there, right? The fresh
Yeah.
fruits and vegetables that are in your Mexican food, and nothing like a good jalapeno and avocado. Like those things are good for you. So
Yeah.
maybe go easy on the cheese. That's all.
The best part.
I know. Bummer, isn't it? So yeah. So another thing that's super important and kind of related to this is maintaining a healthy weight. I know we all know this stuff, right? We all know that it's important. But having extra weight and being obese, particularly as we get older, really is you're at risk for early death, for diseases like heart disease, diabetes, and also disability. Like we want to try to stay as mobile and healthy as possible as we age. And weight is a good way to do that. But we don't want to be too thin either. If you're too thin, then you're at higher risk for breaking bones. You have a decreased immune system, decreased muscle mass. So really important to talk to your doctor about, maintaining that healthy weight, right? And you can do that through, so simple. We all know this stuff. You got to eat right and you got to exercise.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Usually there's no secret.
It's not a secret. All stuff that we don't know. So so those are some of the things that, lifestyle choices that we can do to make sure that we age well as we get older. And another thing to think about is prevention, right? What's that phrase? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right?
Yep.
So, we want to make sure we're visiting our doctor regularly. We want to make sure we're getting our screening tests, particularly our cancer screening tests, because it's a lot easier to treat cancer and other diseases when they're detected early.
Yes.
So there's a reason why women go for their mammographies and men should have prostate cancer screenings, and we should women over, I think it's 45 now, should get colonoscopies. It's because those things really are preventive for cancers down the road that could be, get in our way of living a great life or living long. So super important to talk to your doctor and keep up with that stuff, right?
Yeah, and sometimes even with it's difficult to have those talks and to say, oh, I need to go and check whatever I need to check every year. And it's like a mystery, and it shouldn't be for men and women,
Yeah, especially men. I find it.
Yes.
Men, I think in general, men do avoid the doctor more than women do. Yeah.
Yeah, but for us, it's been like a big, like today, I think today it's the Breast Cancer Awareness Day or whatever it is. I don't know, remember, but I think today is that day.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the whole month.
Cancer Awareness Month. And we have all these, media, and we have all these messages talking about it. So it's more normal for us than it's for the men to go and check themselves for prostate cancer, for example.
Yeah, understood. Yeah. So definitely keeping up, with disease prevention tips and making sure also that, if you are prescribed medication, that you take your medication and take it regularly and as you're supposed to. I think sometimes what happens is people start feeling better and they're like, oh, I'm going to stop. I don't need this medication anymore. Well, you're feeling better because you're taking the medication.
Exactly.
So really important to make sure you understand how to take your medication, and that sometimes can be a difficulty for older adults. So we see that often, and sometimes that's a reason why people, move to assisted living, is because, as you get older and you might be taking a number of medications and maybe you're getting a little memory loss or just you're taking so many medicines that, 1 month, you're taking generics. So 1 month it's white, the next month the pill is yellow, and you mix it up and the dosage changes or which one needs to get renewed. It could be a lot to manage. So, especially for older adults who are now taking multiple medications. So a large reason why older adults end up in the emergency room is because of medication mixes. So a large reason why older adults end up in the
I'm having an echo.
Medication mixes. So
large
reason why older adults end up in the
I'm having an echo.
Sorry, I think that was me.
It's you? I thought it was,
I was hearing it too.
echoing.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right, so one other thing that we have control over, right? I was talking about those lifestyle choices. All right, so we're all going to start exercising. We're all going to start eating well. We're all going to start going to the doctor and having our regular testing. We're all going to take our medicines on time, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all going to stop smoking. Just stop. It's like, we how much more proof do we need? It's just bad for you. It's bad for your body. It's bad for your brain. It's bad for the people around you. It makes you smell, makes your teeth yellow. Just don't do it, right? So
what about vaping?
Don't do that either.
Don't do that either.
It's don't do that either. It's just bad for you. It's bad. It's bad for your lungs, bad for every part of your body. So super important that if you're still smoking, just stop it.
Mm-hmm.
You are at risk for premature death more than any other health risk. So just stop. So so that's all we'll talk about that. So another statistic. You want to hear something crazy?
Yes.
That alcohol abuse among older adults is on the rise, especially among older adult women.
From
what age are we talking about?
Not me. No. I mean, do they attribute that to maybe depression or
and that's another thing too, and something that older adults don't like to talk about is depression in the elderly. It's actually very common in older adults, and actually can mimic in some ways a dementia or memory loss. So very often if you have a really good doctor and you go in there and with what might look like an early like mild cognitive impairment or some other kind of cognitive decline, very often they'll treat you first for depression to see if that alleviates the symptoms. The aging process can often be about loss. Maybe, especially older adults, maybe their spouse has passed away.
Yes.
Maybe they're no longer driving. Maybe they're losing their independence. They're losing their mobility. Their friends are passing away. Maybe they can no longer live in their home. So they're having to make a move. And we know, that's a major life stressor is, making a move. So
that happened to my father-in-law.
Yeah. So it's very, very common
he started getting very depressed when he heard that people was passing.
Mm-hmm.
So they stopped telling him that his friends were passing because he got very, very sad and very depressed.
Yeah. Yeah. So and I think that our parents' generation, people didn't talk about mental health challenges. Now I think people are a lot more open about it if they're suffering from depression, and it's our society is much more accepting of that, and doctors are much more educated about it, and there's a lot more medications out there to help.
Yeah, it had like a stigma. The mental health usually used to have a stigma that you were like crazy, that it was wrong, that it was something to not talk about, to be covered, and that it was not good to tell anybody that you were having a mental something going on, right? And that usually it's hard.
Very easily treated now, through medication. And so definitely a conversation that, that you can have with your doctor and say, I'm feeling sad and this is what's happening to me. And people shouldn't suffer. You don't have to suffer. So I'm actually in a room right now. Hold on. Things are collapsing under my desk here. So I'm in a room that has the lights automatically shut off. So if you see me waving my arms, it's to make sure that
we thought you were exercising.
Yeah, you gotta get your exercise in now. Yeah, exactly. So we're not going to smoke. Of course we're going to drink in moderation. We're never ever going to drink and drive, of course, right? Those are all good ways to age. Never mind age healthy, right? Yeah. And we're also going to make sure we get a good night's sleep. That is so important. I don't know. How do you feel? How do you feel, Denise, when you don't get a good night's sleep?
Awful.
I feel awful. And it's so important. I actually have sleep apnea, and I have a CPAP machine that I wear most of the time.
You don't wear it. Say the
No, I do. I put it on every night, but how long it stays on before I rip it off that varies every night. But like, for example, last night, because you can see when you wake up in the morning how long you slept with it on. It gives you your hours. And so when I wake up in the morning and it says that I've slept for 6-7 hours, I mean, I usually don't get more than that. I feel so much better that day because I know that I had that solid at least 6, 7 hours, I probably ripped it off and I think I went back to sleep. I don't know. So yeah, it's a big deal to get your sleep.
Yeah.
It really is.
Right. You feel lousy. It's even hard to function. It's hard to think straight. And that goes for older adults as well. The brain, everything that you learn during the day while you're sleeping, your brain is literally uploading that into your long-term memory bank while you sleep. And so when you don't get adequate sleep, you can become, increasingly forgetful. So super important. It's good for your brain. It's good for your body. And people who don't get adequate sleep are more likely to fall. They are actually have less insulin resistance. They have increased risks of heart disease. And that's why, younger people who don't sleep well, they get CPAP machines because it affects your heart. They can have increased risks of obesity. So it's really important to have good sleep health in order to age in a healthy way. So no caffeine late in the day. I'm a napper. I know.
But you know what? For me, at least, caffeine does nothing.
Okay.
I can drink coffee and go to bed right away.
Yeah. Even drinking alcohol at night, like I know it makes you feel sleepy, but I actually sometimes find that if I have a glass of wine late at night, yeah, it makes me sleepy. But then when I do wake up, I have a harder time falling back.
Yeah.
What I can do is exercise very late.
Mm-hmm.
If I do exercise late, then I cannot sleep because I'm hyper.
Yeah. I actually heard recently that another trick to help you sleep better, and I haven't started doing this, and because it's hard to do this, that as soon as you wake up, the first thing you're supposed to do is to try to get sunlight. Even if you're just going outside, have your cup of coffee outside or go walk your dog, the very first thing is to get sunlight into your eyes because it actually does reset the circadian rhythms in your brain, getting that sunlight very early in the morning. I don't do that. I have such a hard time getting out of bed. I usually don't want to get out of bed. I just want my coffee.
Yeah.
They say that if you go out, and even if the sun isn't fully up yet, just getting that sunlight in your eyes.
You can't do it through the window?
No, Denise, you have to go out. What else?
I started drinking a chamomile lavender caffeine-free tea at night. And it is the lavender and the herbal tea really is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Very fancy.
So, I just also want to go back to, talking a little bit about, we talked a lot about physical health, eating better, exercising, getting good sleep, not smoking, going to the doctor, but super important also to focus on our mental health, right?
Yes.
That it's not, it's not normal to feel sad all the time. And I think things have been really difficult in our society, and especially in the last 3 years. And we live in a very stressful society, right? We turn on the news, it's just all bad. And just people being mean to each other and just wars going on. So just really important that, we make sure that we focus on ourselves and we practice self-care and focus on those things that we like to do, hobbies, and the people that we love. And, I know like it's such a silly thing, but one of the things that brings me joy, I love going to the dog park with my dog. It just makes me happy to see him so happy. Right. So, if you have things that do bring you joy, make sure you keep doing those things. Right. There's an epidemic of social isolation and feelings of loneliness in our society, especially as we get older, right? Because older adults sometimes, they can no longer drive, or their mobility becomes impaired, or their friends are no longer driving. And we don't have that, especially after we retire, we don't have that structure that's making us get up every day, and showing up at work at 9 o'clock, and that sense of purpose. So it's really important when we retire and we become, more older, to create those things. So my dad, he, about 6 years ago, he finally retired. He was like 74 years old when he retired. And the Friday, his very last day of work, you know what he did? I was so proud of him. He actually went to Google and he Googled bridge games near me because he loves playing bridge. And he knew that Monday morning he wasn't going to be going to the office, and he wanted someplace to go Monday morning. And he did. He found a bridge club, right in his neighborhood. And he, to this day, he continues to play bridge. He 3 days a week. He has a place that he goes every 3 days a week that people are expecting him. He has to be there because if he doesn't show up, they don't have their 4 players to play bridge. So it gives him that sense of purpose. But those are the kinds of things that are so important to just staying healthy mentally, having that sense of purpose, having that whether it's you're going to your senior center or you're going to your church group or in assisted living, it's similar as well, because you have friends and they're waiting for you in the dining room, right? We have actually assigned seating in the dining room. And one of the reasons why we do that is because they all look out for each other. They give each other that sense of purpose. And, you got to get down there at 5:30 because, Mildred's waiting for me in the dining room. So, that's important.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. We saw the epidemic, the COVID epidemic really brought out a lot of, loneliness and increased dementia. I was still working in the skilled nursing facility at that time, and the patients that couldn't see their families and couldn't understand why. It was just very sad. And you saw such a rapid decline in them. So even people that were in their house, my aunt's 90 years old, she was alone in her house for how long? Because she couldn't go out. She didn't want to get sick. And, it's very important, to reach out and to do stuff. And
staying connected with other people, it boosts your mood. You get that sense of well-being. Maintaining connections, it's so important. So once again, you got your senior centers, even libraries, there's such
libraries have a lot of activities.
We are so lucky on Long Island that our libraries are really just the center of our neighborhoods. There's so much wonderful, especially for seniors, or lectures, right? We want to learn new things, and so going to lectures and classes, those are things, and those are things that are super important and help us mentally, also help us cognitively, right? To make sure our brains stay healthy, having those social connections, learning new things. These are, once again, a lot of these things that we're talking about, they're all interconnected. Things that are good for our bodies are usually good for our brains as well, and good for our mental state also.
Yeah, that's true.
So you got to get together with your friends and have a healthy meal.
Yeah, and
no drinking and no smoking.
No smoking, and don't drink too much.
What's the fun of it?
Oh goodness!
You can get together, but you cannot drink. You cannot eat. You can.
But it's true, right? If you have when you have a dinner party with people, right? I mean, it's fun, right? Having that conversation with people. I mean, there's a reason why we want to get around. Humans are social beings, and it's so important to be around other people. So, and that's why, things like senior centers and, community centers and assisted livings, or, one of the problems I know, as real estate agents, this, better than anybody, that a lot, the seniors that you're working with, they're living in these big houses, right? Houses that they might have purchased decades ago, where they raised their families. And what happens, the spouse passes away and the kids are busy, and, the neighborhood is quiet now. People are working, and living in a big house can be a very lonely place. So it's not good for people. They're also they're sedentary because they're sometimes living in just 1 or 2 rooms in the house because it's their stairs, and they're just living there. They're in the kitchen and the living room. That's it, right?
Yep. Yes.
That's where the two of you come in to sell the house so that they can move on to the next great place. And there's so many more options now for seniors, right? We know that the older adult population is, the fastest growing population in New York and the United States, here on Long Island. So, there's so many more options for places for people to live, whether it's a 55 and over or it's an assisted living, whatever, is the right fit for you wherever you are in your lifespan, right?
It's true.
Yeah. So staying healthy, it's also sometimes where you're living has a big effect on that. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yep. Miss Denise,
Yes.
do you have any questions?
Today
I'm out of questions.
That's unbelievable, Sandra.
I'm sorry.
Crazy.
I'm
I'm just curious in your assisted livings. I mean, I know you're all over the place, but do you find there is a lot of participation with the activities that go on? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, listen, everyone's different. At our communities, we try to cater to the needs and requests of the residents who live in a particular building. So, we might have buildings where there's, 12 people who play Mahjong. Well, we're going to make sure we make that Mahjong game is scheduled and that happens. And we might have some buildings where there's no Mahjong. Or maybe some buildings where we have a lot, more men. So we're going to make sure we have that men's club and that, we're scheduling sporting events and that the lectures are going to be, appropriate and interesting to them. So, we have those seniors who, they come to everything. They come down for breakfast and they're at every single activity. And then we have people that, not so much. They're a little bit more, maybe they like their privacy. They like being in their apartment. They like watching TV. But you know what? They love entertainment. So when we have an entertainer, they'll come down, right?
Yeah. Right.
So everyone's different. I mean, the beauty of living in a community like the Bristol is it's all right there under one roof, and you don't have to leave the building for your meals, for your recreational activities, for your doctor, for your hair salon. It's a much safer and can be easier quality of life for people.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to tell you, that seminar I went to yesterday, those chairs in the movie theater were quite comfortable. I can watch movies in there.
Yeah, that's a nice movie theater.
Yeah,
we have that at all of our Bristols. We have movie theaters, right? So even the movies are right there under one roof, right?
I missed it.
So just to let you know what we're talking about, we had a neuropsychiatrist from Stony Brook Hospital, Stony Brook Medicine, who, and her specialty, Dr. Nicole Apsar, her specialty is dementia diagnosis. And so for families that are struggling with the challenges of, memory loss and cognitive decline in their loved ones, sometimes it can be hard to get the right diagnosis. So she talked to us about how she goes about making that diagnosis, because there are different types of dementia. It might be Alzheimer's, might be Lewy body dementia, might be frontal temporal dementia. Like there's different parts of the brain that are affected, and so different parts of the brain, different diseases. So it was a fascinating conversation. Yeah,
she was awesome. Very informative, very down to earth, easy to understand. She was really good.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of things.
Yeah. And you know what we did? So we knew we were talking about, cognitive decline and brain health. So we had refreshments, and all the food that we served to our guests was all brain healthy food, right? You don't think about these things, but there are certain foods, that are said to be good for our brains. So so all the ingredients in the foods that we served yesterday were brain healthy foods. So we had.
What is a brain healthy food?
What's a brain healthy food? I'll tell you. So she made, so just to give you an example, the dessert that she served were actually these little balls. They were blueberry, dark chocolate, good for your brain. Blueberries, good for your brain. So they were blueberry, dark chocolate, date balls wrapped in coconut. So
it was delicious.
They were delicious. Deviled eggs. They were avocado deviled eggs. And then she made beet hummus, and she had like vegetables and crudité, but it was all yummy stuff. Because when we were first talking about it, we were going to make a big charcuterie board. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to be like serving like all these fatty red meats at this brain presentation. We can't do that. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
That's good.
interesting.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it was
that's
good. It was good. And so it showed us that, you can eat in a healthy way and the food can still be delicious and beautiful. It was also pretty, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. We need to have another one like that.
Nice.
So we have questions in the chat.
Nope,
Somebody,
Joanne just
anybody?
said yum.
Any questions, Joanne? Talk now and forever. Be silent.
I don't see any questions.
Denise, questions?
Nope, I'm good. I don't have any
Okay.
questions. And yeah, that's great. Thank you, Julie.
So I just want to mention one more thing to help
One
keep
more thing.
ourselves healthy. So it's, in the last, recently, the federal government started allowing hearing aids to be sold over the counter. So you think, oh, and as we get older and we start losing our hearing, oh God, it's just an annoyance, right? But actually, hearing is really connected to our mental health as well as our cognitive health. So, once again, the brain is a muscle, right? And so when we start to have hearing loss, if we don't address the hearing loss quickly, that part of the brain actually starts to atrophy. And so, so that idea that if you don't use it, you lose it. So if you don't address hearing loss quickly, you might not. You even decide, 10 years from now, I want to get a hearing aid because now the hearing has gotten that much worse, where now you really need it. But it might be too late. So really important to get those, address your hearing loss sooner rather than later. The other thing that happens too is as you start, losing your hearing, you're not as connected to the conversations and the things around you. So that might start might start affecting you cognitively because then it's harder to have those social connections. So hearing, super important to address hearing
That
loss
happened to my father.
sooner rather than
he started losing the hearing, but he uses make the little thing that goes on the ear, the I don't know what's the name of it, but he didn't like it, so he's not using them. And hearing, it's becoming a problem, and then he's forgetting stuff and getting other issues going on.
Yeah, sometimes when people start to get older, though, because you don't really know sometimes, is it a hearing problem or is it a processing problem? Because if there is also a dementia happening,
now I think he's
and
having
we
a
don't
processing
really-
problem with the hearing
Yeah.
problem.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's starting with the hearing problem first.
Yeah. I mean, I find myself, if I'm in a busy place, loud, busy place, I can't hear what people are saying unless they're sitting right next to me. So I smile and nod because I don't know what they're saying. So, so that's
For me, I
issue.
sometimes don't understand what they're saying.
Well, that's a whole different issue.
I need my translator.
Denise, how do I say this in English? Okay. All right.
That's it. This in English. That's true. When I don't find the word, I explain what I want to say.
Yeah,
that's what Google translates for.
Yes. Well, Julie, anything else we're missing?
So we know that our cognitive health is related to our mental health, which is related to our physical health. So all those things are important and super important to manage depression as we age, to stay engaged in hobbies, listen to your doctor, manage stress, get a good night's sleep, eat better, and
all the good stuff.
Exercise.
And exercise. Where can people find you?
At the Bristol Assisted Living, but you can always email or text at 631-926-8864. Always happy to if I'm not the right person, as I talked about earlier, then I'm always happy to make a referral to some of these wonderful professionals. We're very fortunate here on Long Island to have an amazing network of elder care professionals, whether it's home care or assisted living or skilled nursing or physical therapy, senior housing, lots of great professionals out there. So I know Denise knows a lot of those folks too. So we're always happy to make that warm handoff. If you ever need anything, you're always welcome to call me. Always happy to help.
Denise?
That's great. Thank you. Okay. So that wraps up our show for tonight. Thank you very much. Lots of good information. I hope everybody enjoyed it. And we got a lot of thumbs up here, so that's good. And you could
better than a thumbs down.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll be here same time, same place next week.
How many more do we have
guest.
left? 1, 2?
2.
Okay.
So next week we have a guest named Sandra Brennan coming on, and she's going to talk about
she has a
socialization. Like we touched on it a little bit tonight, but she's going to get into more detail with that. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. I look forward to, and the same. If anybody needs help or has a question, just shoot me a text, give me a call.
And remember, we are live next week in my YouTube channel, in my Facebook page, on Denise's Facebook page. Join our Facebook group. What's the name, Denise?
Senior Resource.
I never.
I always forget what that. I
remember the name of the group. But join our group.
Yeah, if you Senior Services Resource Group, and if you go on there and request to become a member, I will approve you. We're up to 88 members, and we're posting on there events that we have coming up, that the Bristol has, that different home care agencies have, trying to get that information out there to everyone who is interested. And
put the name, I don't know the name of our group, but join our group.
Senior Services Resource Group.
Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, and YouTube. I'm Sandra Roman Real Estate everywhere. We have a new little video that we did, keeping up with the Lanzaromans. See our little video. We visited a family. We were helping a family move out of state, and we talk a little bit about what's the process, what we do. We hope you like it, and that's it. See
Have
you
a
next
good night,
week.
everyone.
Adios. Besitos.
Thanks for
Bye.
Thank you. Have a great night, everybody.